Good morning, Chef. My name is John Carvancho, and for this final exam, I have chosen to prepare this recipe that is called sole bon femme. Actually, I choose this one because it's, it's the dish where that involves mushrooms that I like the most. I'm not a big fan of food that involves mushrooms, but in this case, I love fish, so this combination of the fish with mushrooms actually make me love. I love this dish. So I'm gonna start with the mise en place of this recipe. I'm gonna be using I'm sorry. I'm gonna be using echalot. I have here the fish. I'm gonna start cutting it into small pieces, but thick at the same time. And I have here the mushrooms, parsley, the cream, and the white wine. So I'm gonna start cutting this into sicily. I'm gonna mince this in thin pieces. And I'm gonna chop the parsley. And as I said before, I'm gonna cut this um, into uniform pieces, but at the same time, it has to be thick for this recipe. Um, Also, I would like to say that I'm gonna garnish this recipe with potatoes. I'm gonna blanch potatoes that are actually in. You're gonna see the form of the. I'm gonna give to the potato. I'm gonna blanch it, and then I'm gonna pass it through butter and some parsley to give it like a good appearance and a good taste of the potato. So that would be my garnish for this recipe. Okay, I'm gonna start with this little lot. Um, Talking a little bit about the recipe I'm gonna be making um, today. It's actually, as I said before, called sole bon femme. And the term sole bon femme actually means something that is easy to cook. So there is not much effort on it. And it's actually part of the French cuisine. So in France, they tend to use this term to when they want to make people or customers think or believe that the food that they are gonna eat is gonna be like with this taste of home cooking. So they are gonna feel like at home. Um, in this case, this kind of food that has this term of bon femme are actually easy recipes like chicken, making the oven, fish. In this case, I'm gonna be making the fish, and so that's basically the characteristics of this term bon femme in French. As I mentioned before, I'm gonna be garnish this recipe with potatoes, pass it through butter and parsley, and that's something that they used to eat also in France. They tend to eat potatoes like tourne potatoes. I'm sorry, tourne potatoes, and also sometimes they used to garnish this recipe um, with bread. Um, um, okay, so I'm finishing with this with the charlotte. It has a sicily Okay, so this is the cloth already cut, and then I'm gonna cut the mushrooms. The mushrooms I'm using it right now is like it's called I'm sorry um portobello. So they seem to be darker than the regular ones, and also gives like more flavor to the recipes where these kinds of mushrooms are used. Mhm. As I said before, I'm gonna be cooking. I'm sorry, I'm cutting this into thin slices. Um, the purpose of using this, it gives more flavor to the recipe. Actually, as I mentioned at the beginning, I am not like a big fan of mushroom of food that involves mushrooms on its recipe. But this time, when I mean, in the class, when I tried this recipe with fish and mushrooms, I really like it, and it really makes me start thinking about including this ingredient, I mean mushrooms in recipes. Then I tried other recipes like, for example, using this mushroom as a whole mushroom and then put it like something inside. Then we put this in the oven and with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and it really tastes good. Okay, I have already cut it, the mushrooms. I'm gonna wash this. Mhm. I have here the potatoes. So this is for the garnish actually. I'm sorry. I'm gonna peel these potatoes. Um, Something like great to say about France. I mean, France is actually known as the country that has been known for its gastronomy. I mean, its cuisine. They are also, I, I think they are also part of the UNESCO list and UNESCO list heritage. And that's something great because when they cook, they put uh, they put so much effort on the recipes and also on the techniques, so that they make I mean like a sophisticated presentation of the food they are preparing, and that's something great. hmm So I'm peeling the potato, then I'm gonna use this oil to get like this form of the potatoes, and then it has um, at the end it has a good appearance. Then I'm gonna blanch it and pass it through butter and parsley. I think it's already done. Okay. Okay. So I have peeled this off, and I'm gonna start using this. hmm like this. So this is how it has to look at the end. The second one. The third one. The fourth one. I think I can get one more from here. Yeah. Sure. No, no more. Okay, now from here. Okay, this is the result. I'm gonna put this in a bowl to keep aside. I'm gonna start cooking this when the soleil bon film is actually in the oven. Okay, so then I'm gonna cut the parsley and finally the fish. Okay. So this is the this is the parsley, and then I have to cut the fish. I'm gonna be using another table to avoid cross-contamination. I'm gonna put this apart, so that I'm gonna be using for the house. Yep. This one is the table I use for fish. I am using this fish that is called tilapia. As I said before, I'm gonna try to get like 10 pieces of it. Like this. Okay, this is a thin part, so I'm gonna do this. Just keep the form that we need for the recipe. Is this one. I'm gonna, as the chef plate made in the video, we make a light cut here, and then we put this like that. Here the fish. And this thin part, as I did before, like this, I cut in the middle, and we put this like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the bowl. I'm gonna take off the table and then I'm gonna start seasoning the fish. I'm gonna be using just salt, salt, and black pepper. Okay, now I have pepper and the salt. I'm gonna keep aside. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna place my electronical kitchen to start cooking this. I'm gonna clean this first. Okay, there's the kitchen and the pot. I think this one is okay. Okay, so I'm putting the butter inside the pot. Okay, I have already put the butter on it, and I'm gonna start spreading the top. gonna put the mushrooms now. I'm sorry. Okay, so now I'm gonna place this in a recipient that is gonna be in the oven, as this one is not correct for it's not correct to be cooked in the oven. So I'm gonna change of pot. Mm. Okay, so as I have put the onion and the mushrooms, and I'm gonna deglaze this with white wine. And then I'm gonna put this in another pot, because this is right for the oven and this one is not correct to be used for recipes that goes in the oven. So I'm gonna change the recipe. I'm sorry, I'm gonna change the pot. By this point, it actually has a good smell. I mean, the mushrooms, the white wine, it smells so good. And I'm gonna place right here the fish. Okay, right there. And I'm gonna add we can use vegetable I mean the vegetable stock to be cooked this in here, but this time I don't have it, so I'm gonna use. We can also use fumette. Fumette is actually used for these recipes. I'm gonna be using water. And just a little bit, avoid covering totally the fish, because we have to avoid covering the fish. Yes. So I'm gonna put this in the oven. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cook this in the oven. And the temperature I'm gonna be using is 200 grades degrees, because actually my oven is like it's kind of big, and it takes like more time or more effort to cook something small like this. So it's gonna take like more time if I put less temperature on it. So I'm gonna put 200 degrees for the oven until I check the fish is gonna be cooked, and then I take it out of the oven. Okay, so it is started to boil. I'm gonna now this on the pot. So now the potatoes are cooked. I'm gonna put the potatoes in this bowl. I'm gonna turn this off. Take it out. And I'm gonna keep waiting for the fish to be ready. It is still in the oven, so and when the when the when I take it out the fish of the oven, I'm gonna take it out. I mean, when the solid-on film is ready, it's cooked in the oven, I'm gonna take the fish out of the pot, and then I'm gonna start like sweetening, like reducing this sauce, and finally I'm gonna add the cream to the sauce, so it gets the consistency of this type of sauce, and gets like thick and with uh, a good a good body actually. And then at the end, I'm gonna pass the potatoes through butter and parsley, so it's gonna keep hot. If I do it right now, it's not gonna have the appearance that I want the potatoes to have by the end of the recipe. So if I do it right now, it's not gonna be like I pretended the potatoes to be with this dish. I'm gonna keep this aside, and I'm gonna start like watching some things in the kitchen until the fish gets done. Okay, so 15 minutes have passed. I'm gonna take the solid pan flame out of the oven, and then I'm gonna put it in the same pan. In the same pot, I made the the onions and the mushrooms. Okay, so I have taken it out of the oven. I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna just put this. I'm gonna take the fish out of the sauce. I mean, to start making the sauce. Some of the mushrooms. I'm gonna use them to decorate the dish. And I'm sorry, return this in the same pot. I'm gonna start to reduce it. So, and after that, I'm gonna add the cream. And then I'm gonna pass this through butter and parsley. Okay, now I'm gonna add the cream. And keep reducing. That's black pepper. Parsley. And I'm gonna try it to taste. Yep, taste is good. Okay, it has okay, it has got the right one of the sauce. Now it has the consistency that I was expecting. So I have made the sauce. It has a good body actually. And now I'm gonna finish making the potatoes with the butter and the parsley and start plating. I'm gonna keep this aside. Okay. Butter. Okay, so I put the potatoes on it. I'm gonna start fading. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take it off. And I'm gonna start fading. Putting the sauce at the top. Yep. So finally decorate with some of the mushrooms. These are darker actually because I used portobello. here. Like this. And now the potatoes goes right here. Oh. I think it's too much. Let me take this out. Okay. So finally, I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley. So this is how it looks at the end. The final result. So that's all.